Welcome to the class. Today we're going to go through 5 moves to help loosen and relieve lower back pain. So before we start, you will need maybe a block or a cushion. Sometimes towels are a great thing to have. So we're going to start lying on our back with the block underneath the bum. So if you haven't got a block, you're just going to take a towel and roll it up. Now, if you know that you tend to suffer with a really stiff, achy lower back, maybe don't have something so high. I have got clients who actually don't even need anything under the bum, and this still helps them. So see how that feels for you, but we're going to start with the block underneath there. And I'm just going to have that cushion under my head because I'm a princess. So as you can see, when you're in this position, this part of your body is like stretchy. It's being opened up. So when you sit all day, your hips and let's say your hip bones and your legs, they're really close together. So we want to make sure that we stretch this off. A lot of people's backache comes from tight muscles. So the first thing we're going to do is just hold that there for a minute and have a little play with where the block is. I like the blocks to be a little bit closer to the coccyx. You just don't want any pain in your lower back. This might cause discomfort along the 2 sides of the back. That will be normal, but you don't want the block leaning on your spine. That's not going to be very comfortable. And then just have your feet mat width and roll your legs in and out. I like to have my hands here because you can actually feel how your hip bones are rolling in and then how the hip bones are rolling out. But you can have your hands up there, you can have them out to the side, anything like that. So what we're doing here is stretching off the hip flexors. So I'm doing a back class. Why are we talking about hip flexors? Hip flexors, there's one in particular that's actually linked to the lower back, and that's the psoas muscle, which I will link to this video as well, so that you can just get a deeper understanding. But in short, it's attached to the spine and it's also attached to the thigh bones. And this muscle can cause a lot of chaos in people's bodies. So this is just a good way of, so we are going to work hips and back. Now from here, bring those legs back to your starting position, so hip width apart. And again, I like to have a little jiggle with the block, and then bring the left knee in towards the chest. If you've had a hip replacement, you are not going to pull the leg all the way, you're just going to hold it there. If you haven't had a hip replacement, then you can try and draw the leg in closer towards you. So for me personally, I like to hold the front of the leg, but I've got longer arms. But actually, you do notice a slight difference in the sensations if you hold behind the leg. So experiment, see which one you prefer. So while I'm hugging the left leg in, I'm actually trying to reach the right leg away. So the left leg, we're stretching off the top part of the hamstring here. You're getting your bum cheeks and you're getting the lower part of the back. And on your right hand side, you're stretching off the hip flexors there. And then slide your left leg back down and pull the right leg in. So I know for me, my right side, you can see I'm pulling it in, it doesn't go as far. So I know there's a tightness in the hip there. So remember, if you've had a hip replacement, that leg doesn't go past the hip. Now, when I talk about hip replacements, I've got some clients that have newly had new hips, and they can do everything. It really just depends on what your consultant says, but just as a rule of thumb, I don't know what your consultant has said. So if you keep the knee above the hip, it just doesn't put that thigh bone into any compromising angle. But your surgeon might have said just carry on as normal, which in that case you can. So reaching that left leg away as you hug the right leg in. Switch round again, so sliding it out, pull the leg in. So reaching your right one away, hugging that left one in, and then last one, we switch to the other side. I don't know if it's these leggings, but I keep sliding off the block. Oh, the side is so much more tighter. So again, it's very normal to have these differences in the body. You tend to be more dominant on one side than the other. So reach the straight one away. So if your hips are tight, sometimes you might find the knee wants to lift like that. Even if you're trying really hard, the knee's popping up. That's telling you that those hips are tight or your quad muscles are tight. It's just an observation. Good. And then bring it back down. So this time come off of your block. I'm going to actually pop that back under the head. And then bring the knees into the chest. So I love to have a little rock here. So we're actually going to do a yoga move with this one, which is called wind relieving pose. And it's not really about farting as much as everyone thinks it is. It's got to do with the energies in the body. But what I like about this is if you get a nice movement, you're moving the weight into left side, right side, hips, and there. And it's a lovely massage for the lower back. It just helps to release, relieve any pain and discomfort there. So I like to have the feet together. My knees are open, as you can see there. So the first thing is just bring the knees together and hug them into your chest. Then you're going to open the knees and send them away from you and then bring them back together again. And you are just going to follow that movement. It's a nice little hip movement as well. And then if you want to include the breath, when the legs come closed and together, you're going to breathe out. Open up, breathe in. I'm actually cheating because I'm linking my toes together. There should be some benefit to having really long toes. And then we're going to reverse the movement. So now knees together, send it away, open it up and pull it in. Knees together, send away, open up, pull it in. Now to include the breath. So as you open up and you pull it in, you breathe out and inhale away. And just carry on. So you might notice that the weight's shifting towards the coccyx, then the lower back. Good, we'll just do one more like that. And then hug your knees or just hold it there and just have that little rock from side to side. Now we're going to have both the knees doing exactly the same thing. So we're going to go out to the right, send it away, go over to the left and hug it in. Go over to the right, send it away, take it over to the left and hug it in. So can you feel how the weight is shifting all through that mid back and into the back of the pelvis? And then we'll change direction. So take it to the far right corner, pull it in towards your right shoulders, take it over to the left shoulder, send it away to the left corner, and then again just make these little circles. Don't overthink it. Like I find there's usually one point which is like, oh, that's nice, and then just have a little rock wherever you feel it's nice. Good. So now that we've kind of stretched off and we've warmed up, we're going to do a little bit of strength work. So I want you to come into front lying. I'm going to have a block under my forehead just because I have got a microphone on. If you've got really big boobies, you're also going to put a block under your forehead. It just keeps your neck in alignment with your spine and also gives you a bit of space to breathe. So we're going to come into this position. So having the legs wide-ish, don't have to be super wide for this. And like I said, I'm going to have a block under the forehead just because I'm talking on the microphone. So have your hands slightly more forward. And we'll start there. We can always make it a bit more intense if you want. But having hands more forward is just going to make your movement smaller. So we're going to focus on, again, stretching off the hips, but strengthening and really engaging that lower back and the bum area. So hug your tummy in, send your pubic bone into the mat, and then squeeze your legs. So squeeze your thighs, your knees, your calves, and reach your toes away from you. Now from here, can you lift your chest and your head without using your hands? So your chin wants to be slightly down so the neck is long. So we're not looking up and you're not looking down towards your nip-nips, just keeping it straight. and then relax down and give it a little shake. So tummy pulls in, pubic bone imprints, lifting without using your arms, and the gaze is slightly forward. So my mat has got little squares on it, makes your eyes a little bit funny, a little bit 3D. So if you feel like your mat is like that, just close your eyes. Sometimes it can make you feel a bit queasy. And then release down and shake it off. So that might be enough for you. If you want to go a little bit further, then you can follow the cues. Otherwise, you're just going to do exactly like you've just done. Tummy pulls in, pubic bone engages, engage your legs, lifting the chest and the head first. Now this time you're going to start to push into the hands, but as you push, think of the elbows coming forward. I'm going to exaggerate what we're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid coming up like that. Hug the elbows in and just put a little bit of weight into the hands. So you can see the lower back is bending a bit more. So that front body is being stretched, which we all need. But because I'm squeezing my bum cheeks and pulling in my belly button, we are strengthening through that lower back area. So it's a double whammy, a stretch and a strengthen. Now, without just letting yourself collapse, use your hands to lower yourself down until the head is down, and then collapse. Give everything a little shake again. So tummy pulls in, pubic bone imprints, engage the legs, reach them away. Lifting the chest and the head first, and then gently pushing into the hands. As you do that, think of your tailbone trying to go down between your thighs. So if your tailbone starts to lift, you're going to hyperextend in the lower back, which means your bum's going to go upwards. So you might feel like a little bit of a crushing sensation. So keep pushing your pubic bone down, 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 down. And then release, release with control. And then relax at the bottom and give it another little shake. So let's do one more. If you feel like you're not going high enough, now don't let your ego get in the way with this, because it's not about the height. It's about your glutes working, your lower back working. But some people are a little bit naturally more mobile in the back. So if that is you, just take your hands slightly lower. So tummy pulls in, pubic bone imprints, lifting the chest and the head first, and then gently push into the hands. Pull that tummy in and make sure your tailbone is going down between those legs. The shoulders are relaxed, and again, my head is in neutral, so I'm not looking up and I'm not looking down. Keep your bum working, keep it working, keep it working, keep it working. And then release as you come down. Marvelous. So pop your hands under your shoulders. We're going to come back onto the back, and we don't want anything under the head. If you've got a little cushion, you can have something soft is fine, or a towel. Otherwise, nothing for the next one. We're coming into one of my favorite moves. So again, just have a little rock. So if you are enjoying this video, please like and subscribe, as it does help our channel to grow, so that YouTube will share our video with more people. Much appreciated. So we're going to come into spine curls. Like I said, this is one of my favorite movements. Have your feet and your knees hip width apart and your hands flat on the floor. So to start with, you can see there's a little curve in the lower back. That's your natural curve. Your hip bones and your pubic bone are on one plane. So if I put a cup of tea there, it's not going to spill towards me and it's not going to spill away from me. That's going to be nice and straight there. So just so you can see, I'm going to move my hand out the way. So take a breath in. On the exhale, when you get towards the end of the breath out, you're going to send your belly button down towards your spine, and then your spine down towards the floor as you try and pull your hip bones towards the rib cage. But when you do that, I want you to make sure that you haven't pushed. Can you see my legs are active there? You haven't pushed your hips towards the ribs. You've used your abdominals. So one of the problems that people have when it comes to back problems is their core is weak. And the core isn't one muscle, it's lots of muscles. and then release back to the starting position. So what I like to do is just talk a lot while I hold you in a position. My clients get really annoyed. So take a breath in. On the exhale, hug your tummy towards the mat, imprint your lower back, hold it there. Check the back of your legs are nice and relaxed, and your hamstrings your legs and bums are nice and relaxed. Keeping that belly pulled in, shoulders are released, and then release back to the starting position. So now we're going to go up into the full movement. So breath in, pelvic tilt, no bums, no legs. Now you're going to squeeze your tushy, and imagine your bum is pushing your hips up, not the feet. So yes, your feet are down, but we're trying not to just like squeeze into the ground. Lift your hips as you engage the tummy. So shoulders, hips and knees in one line as a general rule of thumb. So for me, I'm going to take that away. So keeping in that belly, and hold it there. Now just check that your hips are not tilted. So if you suffer with sciatica, maybe you've got a knee issue or something's going on, you might have one side which is a little weaker than the other side. So this is why I like to have my hands here. Like, does it feel like the hips are straight? Hold it there, take another breath in. Now I want you to still push your hips up, but you're going to start to bring your spine down. So there's going to be this curling into your lower back. You might feel some pulling across the knees, that's tight muscles. And then you want to try and get your lower back down before the elastic band of your trousers. That's your challenge. So breath in. On the exhale, hug the tummy in, relax your bums and legs. Then you squeeze your tushy, start to send your hips up towards the ceiling. Now, if you can go a little higher, you can, but not at the expense of your neck. So you don't want to be putting any additional weight into your neck or your head. So your lift is going to come from there, not the collarbones. So think of your collarbones staying away from your chin. Take a breath at the top. And then hug that tummy in as you keep squeezing your, I was going to say your panani, up towards the ceiling, pushing in that lower back, trying. So if your back is really stiff and the trousers comes down before the back, it doesn't matter as long as your brain is sending that intention into the lower back. You're still going to stretch off. Let's do 2 more. Breath in. Exhale. Squeeze the bum and lift. So this is one of my favorite movements. When you get to the top, the weight is across the shoulders. There's no weight in your neck or your head. Let your lift come from your hips. So remember, when we contract the back, the front is stretching. Making sure the 2 hips are evenly heavy. Now I want you to bring your attention to your knees. Often the knees will want to open again just to release any discomfort you might be feeling on those hips. So anchor down through the ball of the foot, the blade and the heel. And then as you come down, still squeezing your hips up. If you can see your knees, maybe just trying to stop them from flaring. It depends. You might have a boob in the way, boobs and bellies. And release down. Last one, inhale, exhale. Dropping that chin towards the throat. So much to think about. Lifting the hips nice and high. Relaxing your shoulders. No weight in the neck or the head. So yes, a lot of teachers will teach straight line, which is fine. But I always think if you can get a little bit more spine mobility by trying to lift a little higher, why not? But not if you're going to go into your neck or your head. That's the most important. You might even feel like your hamstrings, like I can feel my left hamstring is crampy. Breath in and then hug that spine down. Pull it in. Use your tummy, use your tummy, use your tummy. And then once you come down, so coming back into that wind relieving we did earlier. So hopefully you can feel how lovely that feels on the back of the legs now, just giving yourself that nice little circles. So I will link some more spine videos for you, just to help with your lower back. the key to it is always just trying to have gentle movement. So if you have hurt your back or you just suffer with general backache, this is a little bit of movement every day for you. And then once you finish those circles, if you come onto your side and then just push yourself up. And that's the class for today. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the mat soon. Take care.